Hey, everybody, and thank you for joining me for another segment of Helen's Holistic Hints. I want to share something with you, a very important book that should be in everybody's household, Healing with Whole Foods. This book is all taped up and old, but was given to me by a very special guy, a guy that I call Banjo. I love very dearly. His name is Ronald Strezick, and he gave me this because he knew how much I would learn from it. So, what I want to talk to you guys about today is dietary change, and so many of us are starting to change how we eat for so many different reasons. And I want to share an excerpt out of this book that I think is pretty important. So I'm going to read it verbatim because it's important. It has to be. I have it. So, Dietary Transition. So bear with me here as I read this. Changes involving diet, lifestyle, and attitude will take individual pathways that depend on the person's resolve and commitment, inherent strengths and weaknesses, the differences between the previous diet and the new one, and the speed of change. Diet is an aspect of our personality. The relationship between food and personality is clearly an inexact one. Since some people eat poorly and still maintain emotional integrity, a poor diet, however, will eventually undermine the strongest of minds and bodies. Let's think about that and let that resonate. We don't realize how our mind health, our mental being affects everything, affects all the choices that we make. Sometimes we hear that if unhealthy food is eaten, good thoughts about it will suffice to make it beneficial. There is some truth to this idea, but we have witnessed too many people with keen and sagacious minds succumb to cancer as a result of poor diet. On an ultimate level, the ability exists to alter food totally by thought. But most of us have not developed this ability. Simply put, if you don't know that a food is, if you know that food is not good, just don't eat it. So it's choice. I have arguments with people all the time about choice and personal accountability. That's really what it's all about. We need to step out of our own way and make the right choices. So, in the Chinese philosophy, they practice an avoiding of known evils. And how they do that and what they call it is wearing one hat. A hat represents an action in a chain of causation. Regarding unhealthy food, the first action or hat can be the decision not to eat those foods. In this case, we wear only one hat. However, if unhealthy food is eaten, then this action is the first hat, the second hat, and every hat after. And successive hats are how we must overcome the effects of the poor food. By suffering, by trying to change the effects with positive thoughts about the food, or by taking medicine. Then by overcoming the effects of the medicine. In other words, there is a further reaction to each preceding reaction. It is suggested that for maximum health, we wear at most one hat. Each hat beyond this is an added weight, causing progressively heavier feelings and less freedom. Wearing no hat, the zero hat condition is what they call it, is to experience the source of all change. By following a path of correct action, we accelerate through cycles of awareness. If we are to make progress, we must unravel all negative situations stored in our bodies and our minds. Moment by moment, we do this through choice. Choices of appropriate activity. The appropriate diet is highly individual, so the precise nature of this process will vary from person to person, as we are all different, kind of what makes the world go around. So those who choose a diet to impress others or to be fashionable, to gain greater power, or even to become healthy, with no thought of sharing what was learned with others, usually have a difficult transition. When one is guided by idealistic motives, such as choosing a diet because it's more humane, or because it does not promote the killing of animals, or it does not oppress third world people, then there seems to not be only fewer problems with the transition, but a healthier attitude, which in turn enables better judgment regarding future dietary choices. When a new diet is adopted, one can expect some reactions as the biochemical process within each cell changes. If the new diet is also pure, then old toxins are released, sometimes with various forms of discomfort known as healing reactions. Such cellular changes also affect the mind and not only represent changes in the mental dimension, but are themselves the transformations of old emotional and mental patterns that are embedded in the RNA, DNA of the body's cells. So I'm stressing that part of it because I want to go over the healing reactions, because when people do these dietary changes, they experience things that are new and they don't know what to do with them. And a lot of people just run to the doctor and say, oh my God, I've changed this, or I incorporated this into my diet, or I took this away from my diet and now I'm feeling this. And Western medicine is all too quick to put a pill on it. And that's not what we need. So I want to go over these healing reactions with you. When you're changing your diet, these are some of the things that you can experience. And again, remember, they're called healing reactions. Your body's getting rid of something that's no good, and it's giving you a feeling that may be uncomfortable, but that's okay. You just walk through it. So the first one, examples of healing reactions. Tension or pain may occur in the upper back or neck, which may move upwards to the head, downward across the abdomen, arms and legs, and eventually to the top of the head, toes, fingers. Pain may occur in the internal organs, particularly in the liver area under the right side of the rib cage. Headache is common. Vomiting could occur. Bile or various types of mucus may come up. Digestive imbalances may develop, gas, cramps, diarrhea. Weakness, weight loss, and sensations of cold or heat are signs of the body and first strongly eliminating before the building and strengthening phase occurs. So you have to go through a little bit of uncomfortability sometimes. And that is okay. I want to stress that it's okay. Don't run to the doctor. Typical emotional reactions include being unreasonable or impatient, angry. You can even get depressed. You'll come out of it. More sleep may be needed during the transition, and dreams may be wild or unusual. Unusual visions may occur, apparitions, altered states. Menstruation sometimes ceases. So women, sometimes you might mess up your cycle. That's okay. It'll come back. Sexual desires usually diminish, especially in men, but eventually become more balanced than previously once the kidney adrenal function is strengthened. So again, people, it's a process when you're doing these dietary changes, these dietary transitions. So most of the healing reactions involving pain and discharge. So you can have a sudden boils or cysts that may break out. You may get rashes or some runny noses. But these are some of the things that you can do or eat during those healing reactions that may be uncomfortable. Chlorophyll and dietary transitions. That's this part of the book. When toxins are discharged in the body during healing reactions, use cleansing foods to help lighten the process. Those cleansing foods are vegetables, fruits, sprouts of seeds, grains, legumes. If there are feelings of coldness and weakness, then cook all cleansing foods. So don't eat them raw then, if you're feeling that. And also use less of them. So if you're eating these foods raw and you're starting to feel a little weak, a little cold, you can't seem to get warm, cook them. Cook them down and eat less of them. When one is changing in the direction of more of a vegetarian eating pattern, small amounts of nutritionally rich protein foods help ease the body over the shock of losing the animal products. In addition, chlorophyll-rich foods are especially beneficial to discharge to discharge the residues of animal toxins, build new blood, and support cell renewal. Apoptosis. All green vegetables can normally be emphasized during transitional healing reactions. Let me repeat that. All green vegetables can normally be emphasized during transitional healing reactions. Eat your leafy greens. My God, I can't stress that enough for so many different reasons. For iron, for magnesium, for fiber. Leafy greens, people. Leafy greens. The regenerative qualities of chlorophyll and protein are combined in nutritious products such as cereal, grass, and microalgae. So now, foods which counteract toxins. Chinese medicine recognizes certain common foods as toxin neutralizers. Tofu. I kind of hate tofu, but that's one. Millet, mung beans, aduki beans, and black soybeans. Swiss chard, radishes, turnips, and figs. These can be used freely in the diet during a transition and especially during the healing reactions. So now, our recommended proportions of food groups. Let's see what this is about. So it says the following proportions by weight in a grain and a vegetable-based diet result in nutrition that is rich in fiber, minerals, and vitamins, moderate in protein and unsaturated fat, and low in saturated fat. Populations where such a diet is prevalent experience relatively less cancer and heart disease and greater longevity. So that diet consists of this daily: 30 to 60% of grains, whole grain cereals, grain sprouts, and flour products. 20 to 25% vegetables, green, starchy, low-starch seaweed and microalgae. 5 to 15% of legumes, beans, peas, lentils, legume sprouts, tofu, miso. 5 to 15% of fruits and small amounts of nuts and oil-rich seeds. And 0 to 10% animal products: dairy, eggs, fish, fowl, and mammal meats. So the range that this is giving, that they give in here, is wide enough to accommodate most individuals except those with extreme conditions. So this is, again, it's based on the individual. Diet is always based on the individual. So, for healthy persons with a dietary history already low in meat and dairy foods, the consumption of animal products can be little to none. But animal products in general should be used cautiously in diets of robust persons. So if you're battling weight, lay off the meat. Get more vegetables, more grains, more fruits, more fish into your diet. If you are someone who's frail and deficient in vitamins and minerals, then you may require more meat. So again, this is based on the individual, but the transition of changing your diet needs an education on food and the things that happen to your body, the chemical changes when you make these changes. When you're thinking of, oh, I'm going to change my diet for this reason, let's think about that first. Make sure you're changing your diet for the right reasons so you can be successful. And then let's make sure that you understand the changes your body will go through and the uncomfortability that you might experience while changing. Don't run to the doctor, just understand it and listen to your body. That's my hint for today. I hope you all enjoyed that. Healing with Whole Foods, and this is by Paul Pritchford. If you can't go out and get this book, get one like it. Understand what you're putting in your body. It's very important to quality and longevity of life. Until next time, I thank you very much for joining me on Helen's Holistic Hints.